Hello and welcome to another episode of the Six and Out podcast brought to you by Sports News Blitz. I'm Bilal and this is the show where we talk everything cricket. Well, it's fair to say we're approaching crunch time in this season's IPL. To break down everything, I'm joined by my co-host Dejan, and Dejan, it's fair to say this last couple of weeks it's been hectic in this IPL. We've seen upsets, we've seen teams be eliminated, we've seen the race for the top four heat up. I mean, how have you summed it all up?
I think hectic's a bit of an understatement, personally. It's been so crazy the last couple of weeks of cricket, and it's amazing because that's what the IPL always promises. Always promises upsets, always promises drama. I mean, as an RCB fan, my like started off really well. Then we lost 2 games in a row, and it just went completely downward. It would have been even worse if we'd lost against Mumbai, but thankfully we won that, and now I'm back at a high. So yeah, it just shows you how good this tournament is. Like the emotion that comes with it and the drama that comes with it. It's been sensational to watch.
Yeah, it's like we don't want it to end, but we are heading towards the end of the league phase,
Yeah,
anyways. But I mean, you touched on it already, but that game between RCB and Mumbai, first time RCB playing in Raipur, and
yeah,
we got to see a thriller and 2 wicket win for RCB. As you mentioned, potentially facing down the barrel of losing 3 games in a row against the Mumbai team who needed to win this game to stay in the competition.
yeah.
And there's one man I just want to talk about, Bhuvneshwar Kumar. How are you feeling when obviously the target was, I think, I don't know
Nine off
how much
three,
the last
nine off
nine of
three,
three, 9 of 3.
nine off three.
He had to hit a boundary. He gets the six, and RCB just get over the line. I mean, how are your emotions in those last moments?
Well, my emotions were just depressed, like basically, because I thought we lost that game. Like, no disrespect to Boovi or something, but he is a bowler. He doesn't bat. So when it came to 9 off 3, I was just like, yeah, we need Booby to hit a six, and he's not going to hit a six, obviously. Then he hit the one for six, and I was just like, kind of my eyes just lit up a bit. I was like, oh wow, this is actually going to happen. And then, yeah, thankfully we got away with it at the end, but we completely stole it. But I mean, he was remarkable that game yesterday. That game, not just with the bat, obviously, but with the ball as well, taking the 4 wickets that he did. The he's taken 21 wickets in this IPL so far. He's got the purple cap. This is this is Bowie from like 5 or 6 years ago. This is what's some of the best bowling that I've seen him bowl for a long, long time, and it's so refreshing to see that for us because right now with his form, he can. I know obviously he may not get back in the India team, but right now with his form, he's showing more signs, more promising signs than anyone else like in Indian cricket right now. So maybe there might be a comeback for him, but it's just amazing to see what he's doing for us.
Yeah, most definitely. And to think of the big guy stepping up because just on the 2 losses, I know that there was a whole that close defeat to Lucknow, 9 run defeat, and in a way, it just felt like not that sort of the form was dipping, but it's sort of like maybe there is a slight lapse in terms of reaching the levels that RCB set themselves. I mean, did you
Yeah.
feel that in any sort of way, especially heading into the Mumbai match and during that Mumbai match, where it looked like potentially RCB would have come up second best?
Yeah, I mean, we've had this run in the tournament where we've gone 2 wins, a loss, 2 wins, a loss, and then we lost against Gujarat, and I thought, okay, hopefully we'll just beat LSG and we'll continue that trend. But then we lost to LSG, and yeah, it was just very important that we won that game because if you lose 3 games in a row, things start to things can like unravel massively, especially in this tournament. We just needed to get that win, no matter how close it was. We needed to get over the line, and you know, yeah, obviously there's still going to be questions to be asked. We've still got 3 games to go in the season. There's still a lot of questions that need to be asked for the next game, but thankfully now we can just go into that next game against I think it's KKR with a lot more confidence and a lot more belief that okay, we were staring down the barrel of 3 defeats in a row, which could have completely just derailed our season. But we've come back, we've shown the fight, we've shown the character, and we've got the win. And we just go again, and we start fresh from now.
Yeah, I think it's SRH first before KKR, if I'm not mistaken.
Now, SRH is our last game, I think.
Oh, sorry, yeah, sorry,
It's
no, yeah,
KKR.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, so you got KKR again in Raipur, and then I think that's done in terms of the home games. Then I think you got
Yeah.
back-to-back away games to end.
Yeah, it's
Um,
KKR, Punjab, SRH. That's our
yeah,
final three.
yeah. So yeah, it's just to think of it. It's only 3 games left, and yeah, it's important because RCB have the best net run rate out of everyone, and that's the reason
Yeah.
they are top. But as you mentioned, there have been a few concerns, and one concern has been Jacob Bethel opening the batting. Um, Obviously, with the injury to Phil Salt, there, it does seem like there has been a bit of a void there in terms of that opening slot. How do you think Bethel has fared, and has that impacted the rest of the batting order?
Uh, I don't know if it's a thing of impacting the rest of the batting order because I thought his innings was okay against MI. Obviously, people look at it, say a run of ball, saying, "Oh no, it wasn't great." But we lost 3 wickets in the power play. He consolidated well. He had a really good partnership with Krunal, who obviously batted unbelievably well. But yeah, there is a question mark there because he was in such good form in the T20 World Cup, and you thought he'd just carry that form on. But I mean, he hasn't really played that much even before the tournament, and then during the tournament, he hasn't played as much in Salt's absence. So I think you've got to give him a bit more time. Just for me, personally, I just don't think he's an opener. I don't think he's an opener. I think he's an excellent player of spin, and and he's got a great sense of timing and power. I think he'd suit that team better if he was batting at number 4, number 5. That's what I think. I just don't think as an opener he's as kind of. I'm going to say as dominant as Phil Salt is, especially when it comes to opening. Like Salt as an opener is not like a bet, a surefire thing, but you know what you're going to get a lot of times with Phil Salt. You still don't know with Bethel because he's very young and still inexperienced. So as I said, for me, I'd put Bethel. If Phil Salt comes back, I'd put Bethel in the middle order. Drop Romario Shepherd because I think that's long overdue. Dropping Romario Shepherd, and yeah, I'd go with Salt and then Bethel, and then you can go Tim David and Hazelwood afterwards.
Yeah, and then just on the other side, and then you talk about Mumbai Indians. They've now the road is up for them. They've been eliminated, and yeah, it's just been topsy turvy throughout the whole season. And just talk us through the issues with this Mumbai side in particular.
I mean, where do I start? There's so it's just been there's been so many errors. There's been so many errors on the front, and again, this is what 3 years in a row now that this has happened. And obviously they qualified last year, which is good, but they have on paper they have the best squad in the competition. They've had that for 3 years, and they've not even come close. Obviously they did all right last year, but other than that, they've just not even looked competitive at all. I mean, this tournament has been weird as well. There's been so many different like selections. There's been so many different players coming in and out of the team. There's been all the talk again about captaincy, all the talk again about you know who should be bowling where. Obviously, they've had a few injuries as well. It's just been it's been a horrendous season, like from top to bottom in that team. And yeah, the owners are now going to have to seriously look at next season because next season is going to be the final season of this kind of 3 year cycle before we go back into the mega auction. They're going to have to really sit down and look at next season and say, right, if this go in next season, if they have a similar season to which they've had this season, then I think they're going to have to make a drastic change in terms of letting some of these big players go, because you can't be this team. As I said, it should be dominating this IPL, but it's just looks so far and away. It's just looks so divided as a unit, and there's usually such a huge emotional connection between the Mumbai fans and the Mumbai players, and as well the ownership. But like the divide has never been more like visible. Like, the Mumbai fans, they're sick to death of it, and at some point they may, and to be fair, they may be right because this is 3 years now where they've just not competed at all.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, as you mentioned in previous years, they have reached a playoffs, but it does seem like they haven't fulfilled their real potential, especially as you mentioned, this recent cycle. And
No.
yeah, as you say, it's a team full of international superstars, and they shouldn't be where they are. And I know we've alluded to it in previous episodes, but all roads will come to Hardik Pandya, and we've heard a few rumors that behind the scenes between Pandya and the management, things probably not on the best terms. I mean, in terms of Pandya for himself as captain, do you even
Yeah.
see him leading Mumbai into next season, or how will that go in terms of how Mumbai will shape up for the next season?
Well, it's kind of stupid to say that there's a divide like between. No, I'm not, when I say stupid, I mean stupid upon the ownerships to say that it's a divide. Like the ownership's the divide because the ownership's the one that gave him captaincy. Like so for them now to turn around and not back him, that's a reflection of how they've been. But no, and I was thinking about this earlier, and I can't remember what analyst it was on CrickBuzz, but they said they were talking about this. I think it might have been Simon Dool, and he said it. I think he said it perfectly. It really made me open my eyes a bit more to the kind of leader that he is. When he first started at Mumbai, he was like a young player, a young, inexperienced player. He was playing with his brother. His brother was obviously at Mumbai as well, but he didn't, and they were very inexperienced. They were, the team at that point was packed with so big names, Apollo, Rohit, Lingers, your brothers, like Partha Patel's teams in that Mumbai team. And I was kind of like a young, he basically Bob. But I just think he went over to Gujarat, and it was kind of one of those things where he kind of just became a different player at Gujarat. That okay, it's your team, and you just go out and do what you'd want. But now that he's gone back to Mumbai, it's like he's there. You go. Now that he's gone back to Mumbai, it's kind of one of those things where it's just like he's having to lead, and he's kind of leading his own way. And I feel like the way he leads and stuff, he benefits from not having like big names and big personalities because I feel like he wants to. He's a kind of captain that likes to control everything on the field. He doesn't really like to listen to other people. He kind of like wants to do his thing, and he'll go at things head on. And now it's kind of one of those things where he's doing that at Mumbai, but there's 4 or 5 players in that team that can easily make a case for being captain. Rohit being one of them. You know what I mean? So now it's kind of a thing where he plays looking at I don't want to like I'm better than that. I know. You could think players just on there's a huge divide and something's going to have to change.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't put it better. And yeah, I remember when Hardik first took charge of that Gujarat team in 2022, and it was essentially a name of not unknowns, but you guys had like Ridhaman Saha, Matthew Wade opening the batting, and like the only potentially star-studded player was Rashid Khan, who was the vice captain at the time for Gujarat. And yes,
Yeah,
I just feel like with this Mumbai team, yeah, as you mentioned, there could be a few cases for people who want to be captain, but I just feel like I guess it's the fault of the players for not getting behind Hardik as well, because we've seen the amount of inconsistencies in terms of their performances as well, the amount of chopping and changing, whether that's from management
true.
or from Hardik himself. But yeah, like I say, they just haven't got anything right. It just feels like from start to finish, start to where we are now.
Yeah, it's one of those. So things just playing up. Sorry,
No, no,
Wi-Fi.
that's fine. No. Yeah, no, but yeah, moving on from
Yeah, go.
Mumbai to Lucknow, another team that have been eliminated, and as we mentioned, their worries have just continued over from start to finish, particularly with their batting. And I'm sorry, but if you have Aidan Markram, I know Josh Inglis came out, but you have Aidan Markram batting at number five. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just don't know. I just don't know where things are going to happen for this Lucknow batting unit in particular. And in a way, their bowling started to tail off as well in these last few games. And yes, they did beat RCB, and maybe there was a slim chance, but in the recent game, all things fell apart and they were eliminated against CSK.
I mean, they've just not had players in form. It's that simple. And then again, it's just one of those things where it's like they just chop it. I say it all the time about LSG. They just chop and change all the time in terms of who bats where. As you said, Markram batting at five. It's not like a thing you expect to see, you know. But as I said, apart from the century that he scored against us, Mitch Marsh hasn't really done as much as he's expected to have done. Inglis has only played a couple of games. Punt, again, feels like everyone scored runs against us. But Punt, other than that, hasn't really done much in this tournament. Pooran hasn't really done much in this tournament. And I feel like they've just kind of been relying so much on their bowling to just say, right, get us out of this situation, get us out of this situation, get us out of this situation. They're not going to be able to do that every single time. Sometimes you need your batting to really step up for you. But yeah, they're just batting wise. I think the batting's just been the reason why they're not qualified. It's been so poor this tournament, and as I said, similar to Mumbai, they've got good batting, especially the top five. They've got a good top five, but just not shown anywhere near enough consistency.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think there's much more to be said. I know they've got 3 games left, and maybe like Mumbai, it's about figuring out who you want to keep in terms of overseas
Yeah,
players because I feel like the overseas pool is really good. But we've seen Nicholas Puran. Yes, he had maybe a 1 or 2 good innings in recent games, but on the whole, anyway, it's just not been good enough. And then Marsh as well at the top, I feel
no.
has been very underwhelming. Markram, do they want to keep him if they're not opening up with him? Because it feels like Josh
Yeah.
Inglis, they want to keep him as like the overseas player for next season. But it's just what direction would you want to take this Lucknow team in? And like with Mumbai, there'll be questions on the captain as well, Rishabh Pant. Is he fit enough to lead them again next season as well?
Yeah, that's gonna be the main question. The thing I'll say about that is I don't see many leaders in that team. Like maybe Mitch Marsh because he captained Australia for a little bit, but other than that, there's Markram as well, but Markram doesn't really captain like South Africa anymore. So there's not many options. I'd say. I just think for them, the key has got to be. I just think they just have to have one season where they just strategize and say to themselves, right, you know what, this is going to be our top seven, and nothing's going to change about that top seven. Like no one's going to change positions. No one's going to. And if you have someone like Markram who you're not really sure where to play, so you just think about shoehorning him, you might as well just let him go because like, there's no point in just shoehorning him in at number five, number six, because you want to open with now Inglis and Marsh. Like, just have a settle top seven and say, okay, these two are going to be playing here. These two are going to be our openers. This is going to be our number three. This player is going to attack spin. We're going to have 1 or 2 finishers, maybe number 6 and number 7, and go with that. And basically just release the other players that don't fit that kind of system and you don't want to play or shoehorn into a team. And then say if you're falling short on say Indian finishers, there may not be as many in the auction, but you have to make sure that when the right one comes along in the auction, you go and get him. That's what they have to do. They have to just build a foundation and just say, this is what we're going to do for our batting, and this is the top 7 we're going to have, and this is how we're going to play, and this is who we need. Because I've said it all the time, if you constantly keep chopping and changing and shoehorn players into different positions, it's never going to work. It will never work, especially in this format.
Yeah, I think for them, young Indian batters is the key. And as you mentioned, the market may be limited for them, but yeah, as you mentioned, consistency, the lineup, just selection, just from the top down. And I don't know if it's a coaching issue because I want to like Justin Langer as a coach, but maybe you start to look at him. And I know their owner is quite Um, he likes to chop and change a lot. I mean, we've seen him
Yeah,
when he had KL, and now he's started to trust Rishabh Pant. Will he backstab Rishabh Pant and then go for someone else? But and
yeah,
continue this cycle? But yeah, yeah, as you mentioned, just some calm in this team is what's needed.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and moving on then to a team just about keeping up their hopes for the playoffs in the Delhi Capitals. They got a big win against Punjab, who for Punjab the may seem to be falling off, but we'll start with Delhi. And Dejan, this was such a big win for them, just to give them an inch. And to be honest, like Lucknow, Delhi, they've got a really good star-studded lineup. Mitchell Stark coming back, likes of Tristan Stubbs, David Miller as well, and it just feels like if this Delhi team can get on a roll, maybe just maybe there can be an outside shout and make the claim
It's
into making the top four. But how do you see it with this Delhi team, given the remaining games they do have?
it's going to be tough because it's. I think it's got to hit. They need 2 wins in 2 matches, which will mean they go to 14 points, and you really want 16 points to qualify. So they're going to need to get to the 14 points and need other results to go their way as well, which has happened before. That's not an impossible thing. A few years ago, RCB won 6 games in a row, and we had all the other results go our way. So it's happened before, but yeah, I think as I said, that win today was just very important because Punjab is Punjab has been the team that everyone has looked at in this tournament and said, like, if we beat them, we're in a good spot, and we're getting better. And also, it was just very important because they scored 250 against them last time, and they couldn't even defend that. So I think to chase down a score like chase down 210, get players like Aksa Patel in form because he's not been in great form in this tournament. Miller to get a 50, obviously finishing the game as they did. I think it was just very important for them to kind of just send a message to the teams and just say, we're still here. Like we may not be after 2 games, but for now we're still here, and so don't slip up.
Yeah, they actually lost 3 wickets in the power play in this game, and yeah, it was the middle of Aksa. I think
Yeah,
as a batter, he's been a little bit poor, as captain as well. And yeah, like he's sort of fluctuated back from like number 4 to number 6, number 7 even. And I feel like he really
yeah,
stepped up, and I feel like he's going to be key because I feel like the top order, apart from KL Rahul, have been a little bit underwhelming. I know they tried Patul Nisanka there, along with KL Rahul, and then he ended up
yeah,
getting dropped. Abhishek Burrell. So yeah, it just feels like they just need players stepping up, and now is the time. And weird thing about this match, there was literally no overs or spin. Punjab had Yuzi
yeah,
Chahal, Delhi had,
yeah.
and I know Dharamshala high altitude it maybe is a little bit more seam friendly than other pitches, but that felt strange, especially from Punjab point of view because.
Not
I
usually
like
easy.
Shreyas Iyer as captain, but I feel like in recent games, I don't know what it is. He's just a bit too relying on like the five bowlers he picks. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know if
true,
it's because
true.
Cooper Connolly's like unfit to bowl as at the moment that sixth option, or I mean, as we move on to
But I
Punjab,
mean,
because
I mean, usually didn't even bowl, did it?
yeah. But do you feel like with Shrey Iyer, he's feeling the pressure in terms of like now it's their fourth loss in a row after such a
Yeah,
perfect start. All the pundits, everyone was hailing this Punjab team, even we were. And to see it maybe potentially falling off. I mean, they're just about still in fourth place. Is the pressure on for Shreyas Iyer and this Punjab team?
yeah, 100%. You lose 4 games in a row, it's always going to be like that's. It would be. I think it would genuinely be disastrous if they, after the start they had to the season, if they don't make qualification, that's a disastrous like turnaround in terms
We've
of
seen it happen
the good,
before,
the
though.
bad. It
We've
has
seen it happen
happened
before.
before, but
Rajasthan 24, Delhi last year.
definitely, yeah, true. But it's weird with them because, as I said, for so long, you find it difficult to criticize them a lot because they started off so flawlessly, but now it's like they've just completely gone off the rails in terms of the last 4 games and the 4 defeats they've had. They've not been like they've been quite convincing defeats as well, like a lot of them, and they've not really looked competitive in those matches, which has been weird. But yeah, they're gonna need to step up again. They're gonna need to get back into it. You know, they've got Mumbai next, um, which could be a good way to get back into confidence because they've got no confidence whatsoever. So that could be good for them. But they need to win 2 games out of 3 to get to 16 points. So they're going to need to make sure they get those 2 wins because right now they've lost 4 games and they've not really looked competitive at all in those 4 games. So they're going to have to turn it around.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess the one flaw they did have, even when they were winning games, was the bowling. Like you'd have like one or
Yeah,
two that would stand out, but then you'd have like Marco Jansen go on economy of like 12, 13, Dwarshuis as
yeah,
well. And it feels like that sort of caught up with them, if that makes sense. And
yeah,
they're, in terms of the results, they're getting on the wrong side of the results now. So I don't know if it's maybe, I wouldn't say change of personnel, because I know they brought in Yash Thakur, who, again, he was slightly average in terms of the way he bowled, but I, I don't know what it is in terms of just getting it right, because I feel like, yeah, they are really talented, and we've seen the form these guys can produce, but it's going to be tough because after that as well, they play RCB for the first time, and then I think their final game is against Lucknow as well. So I feel
yeah.
like there are winnable games there potentially, but like I said, it starts with one, and you feel like if they lose to Mumbai, I could see them losing the rest of their games at that point. So I think with them, it is just a momentum thing to get things back on track.
Yeah, I think they need their middle order to start stepping up more. I will say that because like Nihal Wadera is a good player, and Shashank's a good player, and they showed that last season that they're very capable batters, but they've not done it this season. And obviously, because I feel like there's been so much attention on that top 4 because it's been very, but they need more from their middle order. They want these off. They haven't really made like see a game where they chased 50 against Delhi. They haven't really made like a big score. They've kind of been scoring between like 190 to 200, which now 210, which now in the IPL is like that's quite routine. So they're going to need more from that middle order. They can't just keep relying on the top order to score them runs. They're going to need the middle order to step up.
Yeah, definitely. And moving on to a team who haven't looked back in Sunrisers Hyderabad, and they're just a team on the up. They go climb all the way into second. They've won, I think, 6 out of the last 7. They did slip up against KKR, but I feel like in the other games they've just outclassed the teams, and in particular with the batting, they've got 3 guys in terms of the top 10 run scorers. Henrik Klassen, out of all people, is the orange cap holder, and then you've got, I think it's Ishan
Yeah,
Kishan at number 3, and
and then Abhishek.
there's someone else. Yeah, Abhishek at like number 9, I think. So
Abhishek.
I
Oh no,
think with
Abhishek's third.
sorry,
Abhishek's
Abhishek's
third.
third and Ishan Kishan's 9. I got it mixed up. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, these guys are just when they're on song, and they have been for some time now. These guys are really good, and it's shown in the table as well.
yeah, definitely. The gets from where they were after the start of the season. I don't think anyone thought like this would happen, but I've said it many times. That batting lineup is always going to win you games. It will always win you games. And the key that they needed was the bowling. And I think they've started to really get the bowling combinations and everything spot on. And that's why they've won so many games because the bowling's been good. And what it's done is it's backed up the batting so well. The batting has just been, you know, Claessen's just been out in a world of his own with the bat. Like the amount of times he's just finished off games for them, the amount of times he's in important situations just scored all these runs at brilliant strike rate. And I also think when you're Travis Head and Abhishek Sharma and Ishan Kishan as well, having someone like that in the middle order who is able to score those runs and consistently do it, it just gives you the freedom to just go for it and just, chance your arms. And I think that's why they that top order has been so good because they have someone like Clausen who can just if just play that floater role if needs be. If you need him to go aggressively, he can. If you need him to just stay in, he can do that. So yeah, the batting was always going to win them games. It was always going to win them games. But as I said, the bowling, yeah, it's the bowling's made a significant turnaround.
I guess it's the Pat Cummins effect. I mean,
True.
even before him, they actually looked really good. But I feel like with Pat Cummins coming back, they look even more well-rounded now. And
Yeah.
it just feels they have the bowlers, the different profile of bowlers as well. You had guys like Sakib Hussain, Ehsan Malinga at the death as well. And yeah, it just feels like these guys are just poised to make the playoffs. I'm going to say it. I know a lot can change in the next few games, and um, they could potentially slip off. They play Gujarat tomorrow, so that's a top four clash right there. And then their remaining fixtures are CSK, who are also hunting for the playoffs, and then
Yeah.
they end proceedings against RCB as well. So yeah, three games against three teams who would want to make the playoffs, and potentially the next three opponents, all three of them could potentially make it if Punjab continue to slip up. But
I mean,
yeah, I think for SRH, you just continue to put the gas pedal down and showing why they're on such a good run at the moment.
that is going to be a great game then versus Gujarat because it's one win in 3 matches to qualify
Yeah,
for both of them. So that's going to be a very, very intriguing game. So yeah, SRH are really, as I said, they've really turned it around well. And as I said, if they keep winning like this, you won't want to play them in the qualifiers because with the way the confidence they have in the form they're in, you won't put it past them to, you know, maybe do something pretty special at the end of the season. Potentially,
yeah,
we'll see.
potentially. I mean, long way to go. But then moving on, as we mentioned, another team in the top four in the Gujarat Titans, like SRH, they're another team in form. And we mentioned at the time that they had important fixtures against at the time the top two teams in Punjab and RCB, and they passed that with flying colours. And I feel like their most recent performance is probably the best performance we've seen from them all season. The game against Rajasthan in Jaipur, winning
Yeah,
by 77 runs, and it just felt like everything clicked. Um, they didn't let the initial sort of phase of Suryavanshi sort of tonking down the bowlers. They stuck to their plans, they executed it, and one man I feel like's gotten back to form is Rashid Khan. And we've talked about their pace bowling, how sort of in sync it is. And to top it off with Rashid Khan, who may have been a slight weak link, to have him back in form, I mean, this Gujarat team, their bowling it just gets to another level, doesn't it?
yeah. I'm surprised you said Rashid Khan actually because I was thinking someone. I was going to say Jason Holder. I think Jason Holder's been
He's definitely
the
going under the
real
radar
kind
as
of.
well.
Yeah, I think since he's come into the side, he's been a real the real standout. Especially with the bat, he's played some crucial innings as well, like in terms of his power and striking the ball. But with the ball, he's taken two or three wickets a game. Like that's gold dust for you. Like to do that and big wickets as well. And yeah, of course, look, Rashid bowled unbelievably well against RR, and that, as I said again, just him with the form he's in, like if he continues that form, no batsman in the world's going to be able to play him. So that would be a massive bonus for Gujarat if they get him back in form fully. But as I said, for me personally, I think Jason Holder's been the guy who's turned it around for Gujarat because I think he's just brought them complete balance in that team. And as I said, with the ball, he's just helping out so much, and he's doing so much for them. And in the field as well, he's taken like three or four. He takes like two or three catches a game. It seems like he's just been that good since he's come in. So yeah, with both of them and the way they're playing, yeah, Gujarat they're looking good. They're looking very, very good.
Yeah, and it's been confirmed that the final will be in Ahmedabad as well. So if they qualify for the final, given their home form as well, I think the playoffs, the qualifiers are in Dharamshala, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I
Up,
think so.
so yeah, they're another team. I don't want to say they're nailed on, but as you mentioned, they only need one win in three, and so yeah, it just feels like like they've got standout performers as well, and you know the consistency you're going to get from the batters as well. Maybe
Yeah,
Butler's sort of tailed off a bit, and um, maybe their middle order is still a little bit weak, but I just think their overall game is a lot better than some of the teams we have seen in this competition.
100%, 100%. They're still got the quality.
Yeah, absolutely. And moving on to a team who are knocking on the door are the Chennai Super Kings. They just sit outside the top four in fifth, and I don't know with Chennai, they're a weird team because I feel like just when you feel like they're down and out, they sort of reel themselves back in, and they have done in these
Yeah,
last two games. And for me, getting their top four right and getting their top four firing at different times has been really key. You saw
yeah,
Ruturaj Gaikwad; he seems to be getting amongst the runs. Urvil Patel seems to be a really good batter at number three, and yeah, and Sanju Samson, we know the quality he possesses for Chennai. So I think particularly with their batting, because I feel like their bowling's sort of been settled throughout the whole tournament, but I think with their batting, there definitely seems to be the firepower that may have been missing at the start of the season. How do you sort of assess it?
still no MS Dhoni. Still no MS Dhoni after all the time.
Don't need
But
him maybe at this point.
yeah, true, true. I mean, Kartik Sharma's done a pretty good job actually, to be fair. But yeah, the both the batting and bowling. As I said, I feel like they're just starting to get it right. As I said, a lot of these teams now. This is the most important time of the season where if you want to make a genuine case for qualifying, you have to start getting have to start getting your combinations like right. And as I said, Chennai is starting to do that now. As I said, the top three's starting to find form. You're starting to have other players starting to step up with like the Urvil Patels and the Urvil Patels. Samson has been probably Chennai's best player this tournament with the bat, and getting Gaikwad in form as well. It's massive and it's important. And yeah, with the bowling as well. I mean, the likes of Kamboj, who I think we criticised a bit at the start of the season because we just thought decent bowler, but he needed to go to the next level if Chennai were going to make a case for qualifying, and he's done that. And as well, others getting the likes of Akil Hussain in as well, getting more, giving more bowling opportunities to. Let me just. I mean, Jamie Overton's been outstanding as well with the ball and the bat. So as I said, I just feel like again, most important thing they've got the combinations right. Now it's going to be about can they get 2 wins out of 3, and if they do that, that's 16 points. Saying for a lot of teams they need to have all these, they need to be getting 16 points to qualify a lot of these teams, but that is kind of where the benchmark is. So if they get these 2 wins, and what are their final games? Let me just quickly check. So
Last two is
NSG,
SRH and
GT.
GT, so
Yeah. So
it
not gonna
could
be
come down
easy,
to that final
but
game against Gujarat. It really could.
it's not gonna be easy, but it's good to see that after a poor start to the season where a lot of people were writing them off and doubting them, that they managed to turn it around. And maybe MS will play the final game. Maybe we'll see. I don't know anymore. Like he genuinely might not play the whole season. That'd be crazy. Because all
As
we
I
heard
mentioned,
about all the
I generally just feel he's secretly tired, and because I
true,
remember when he was in Indian play, he took people knew that 2019 World Cup was his last World Cup, but I feel like he announced retirement during like COVID. I think I could be
yeah,
wrong, but
yeah.
so yeah, it
But
was just one of
but it
them.
was yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like at the start of the season, he had a calf strain. He's going to miss out the first 2 weeks. You're
Yeah,
like, all right, he'll be back after 2 weeks, and it's been 11 games and no sign of him. Not even been at the stadium or anything like that. So we'll see. We'll see. But as I said, right
yeah,
now they're doing pretty well without him. I'll give them that.
yeah. And then I guess, do this team have any hope? It's the Kolkata Knight Riders. They have won four in a row, but I mean it is a long road ahead for this team, and
They're gonna need
they have
another
been
four
pulling
in a
out
row.
results. Say that
They're
again,
gonna
sorry.
need another four in a row. Another four in a
Yeah,
row. 4 and
yeah.
4. That's what they need.
Hey, they're halfway there, but to be honest, they have improved a lot. I just think their overall game, they have improved. I think the bowlers in particular, Kartik Tyagi, Vaibhav Aurora as well. It just feels like, but it does just feel like it's a little bit too late for this KKR team. I mean, how do you see it with the remaining fixtures they have?
Yeah, it does feel like it is kind of a bit too late, which is a shame because, as I said, I feel like they're just. Well, it's not really a shame for people that don't like KKR, and as an RCB fan, it's not a shame because Well, they might beat his next game. You never know. But yeah, I mean, they've done a lot right recently. Obviously, there's been some real standout performers. Obviously, we talk about Finn Allen in the last game scoring 100, and of course, there've been others as well. Cam Green started to kind of really started to find form, and their bowling has been very good. Like the way they've turned it around. I think Anukul Roy's been a great find. Sunil Narayan's been very good. I think Chakravarti's return to form has been hugely important because he didn't start the season well at all, but he really has come back well. So, yeah, I mean, I said it's a shame that it's happened quite late, but you never know. Four wins in four. You know, sometimes miracles can happen. So if KKR do it, then fair enough.
The one I just checked. The funny thing is, they've only won one game at home all season, and three of their last four games are at home in Eden Gardens. They play RCB in Raipur, and then they've got three back-to-back-to-back games at home. So
Yeah,
maybe it is the end of the road, but hey, we'll see. You never know.
yeah. Tell you what, if they do it though, it's gonna be that's one hell of an effort if they do it. And as I said, somehow if they do it, again, I talk about a lot of teams. I talk about it a lot because it is very important. Momentum is a big thing, especially in this tournament.
Definitely,
Like
we've
if
seen
you
that.
like genuinely, if they win four in a row, and they get qualification, you will not want to face them in the playoffs
Oh
because
yeah, we
right
saw in
now
20.
they're
Was it 2021 in the UAE where they're like,
yeah they got to the final.
yeah, they got to the final against CSK and then they lost it. But yeah, even then they had to come back
They had
and do it.
serious
So
momentum. Yeah. So as I said, you wouldn't want to play them if they do it, but it's just going to
definitely.
be a case of will they do it? Because winning four in a row is a hard thing to do.
Yeah,
But
and I feel like this year in particular, there's just so many more teams in form. I feel like there's maybe,
yeah,
including KKR, probably seven teams that like look good. Not at the moment
yeah,
because I don't think Punjab are
yeah.
maybe, but just in
Basically,
terms of
just the
points
other
and the
teams.
run rate,
Yeah,
yeah.
just the other teams apart from MI and LSG. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a bit,
and of course they're the first two to be eliminated, and yeah, I mean it's shaping up to sort of be a fitting finale, sort of the running as we call it. And just before we leave you, actually, Cooper Connolly he did end up scoring a century against SRH in a losing cause. He actually became the youngest ever centurion for an overseas player. I want
okay.
to ask
Is it?
you, do you know the second youngest or the person who held the record before him? So Cooper Connolly did it at 22 years, 257 days old. The next person did it at 23 years, 122 days.
Oh God.
Take a guess. I can give you
Um,
clues. I can give you clues. Um,
can you tell me the
let me just
team he
get it
played
up.
for? Have you got the team he played for?
I think it's Delhi, but I'm just gonna double check that. Um,
Okay.
bear with us.
Uh,
He is. He's not Australian. That's all I'm saying.
uh, God, that's a tough one, man.
Just
Was
bear
this
with me.
like back in the day, or was this
Yeah,
only
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
was this quite recent, or this
No,
was
no,
back
this
in the
is
day?
like pre 2015.
The only player I can think of that played for Delhi, the only overseas player that's in my mind is AB de Villiers, but I don't think it will be AB de Villiers. But he played for Delhi in like 2008 and he scored 100. I remember that. I don't know can't remember many of the Delhi players that scored centuries. So I'm just going to take a punt and say AB de Villiers.
Okay, no, I've just discovered it. Okay, it was 2016 actually, and funnily enough, it
Oh,
was against your team in Bengaluru.
oh, De Kock. Oh, that's
Yeah,
not that. That doesn't. Said, you just said it was pre 2015.
I'm sorry,
That
I'm
doesn't
sorry.
count.
It looked like
No,
2015
I
because I
got
had
no.
the
Yeah,
image.
I remember that. I remember that
Yeah,
innings.
Delhi Devils. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And then I've got the list. The one, and then
I
after
remember that
that,
image. I remember that innings. Yeah.
yeah. Then after that, David Warner
Oh, do I have to
for
get?
Delhi against Kolkata in
Yeah.
2010. So yeah,
Yeah, that
sorry, I kind of scuffed that. I probably should have had it more prepared, but
was.
I did have the
Well,
answer. I just
yeah, yeah.
forgot. I just forgot the year and the team and everything.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, that's gonna do it then. As we mentioned, it's gonna be a tight running. I guess I'm sure we'll have to do a recap before the final sort of match day, just to
Yeah.
gather our thoughts, gather our predictions before we enter the playoffs. But once again, Dejan, it's been a pleasure. Many thanks for hopping on this episode of the Six and Out podcast. Be sure to check us out on Sports News Blitz on YouTube and Spotify, and to check out our Sports News Blitz website. Once again, many thanks. I've been Bilal, joined by Dejan, and we'll see you next time.